Hey everyone, we are going to look at the data types in JavaScript. So why it is important to understand data type in JavaScript? I've pulled together a couple of code snippets just to give you an idea of where are the places that we are using it. Let's have a quick look at them. So let's have a look at the first one. For example, this is an interface of scenario, and you can look at every key here is having a different data type. A feature is of type feature. Note the uppercase F because this talks about a custom build feature. A user has built a feature of type object. An exception is of type standard error type. Keyword is of type string and lines of number array. So every property is having a different data type. And if I look at the second code snippet, this is a method. And if you look at the conditional statement, rest.error not equal to undefined, then take screenshot. So here the data type is undefined. If it is not undefined, then take screenshot. So this is some of the real-time use case. And here, for example, URL is of type string. And this particular step, I open the page. And then if you look at the second argument, it is an object literal. The key is in wrapper options and the value is retry. And the value is another object having a key as retry with the value 2. So, and let's have a look at the next one. For example, in this particular method, element is of type webdriver.io.element. So this is basically that WebDriver.io team has built an element of type element. So in object generally we tend to see two different type of object. Either the inbuilt object, basically the object that are already built within the package of Node.js, or the user can build it. So these all objects are WebDriver.io.element, feature, these are all built in. I mean, these are all the user built types. So this gives us an importance of why we need to understand the data types very clearly. This will not only help us to write the code better, also will also help us to read others' code better. And some of the code snippets here are TypeScript, but doesn't matter. TypeScript is an extended version of JavaScript that still uses the underlying core principle. Okay, in this particular example, we will look at getting answer for these four questions. So how many data type exist in JavaScript and how to check a specific type? For example, if given that you have a data, how do we check whether that data is of this type? And also look at why understanding a data type is important. We'll just do a quick demo and understand why it is important. And we can also talk about different forms in which a data can be represented. So let's have a look at the first one question. How many data types exist in JavaScript? So there are 7 primitive meaning basic type, and 1 object type. See, all the primitive type you can note it down. It's all will start with a lowercase type and the object will be uppercase 1. Again, the object type will be a broader category that consists of both inbuilt objects of Node.js as well as the user built objects. And now let's look at the primitive one, a string. Basically, how does a string will look like in JavaScript? So you can enclose a string with just a single quote, or you can just enclose it with double quotes. Both are possible. And look at Boolean. This is either true or false option. And look at the number. For example, it can have a whole number like this, or it can also have a decimal points. And undefined is a type as well as value. We will see it in a demo, but undefined is a type which when you initially declare a variable and you do not assign any value to that variable, this will be by default, we'll have the value as undefined, the type will also be undefined. If you do not get this completely now, that's fine. We will have a look at them later. And null is another type. So this is a primitive type, remember, but this shows that it is an intentional absence of any object type. We will see it in a demo, but this is a primitive, but just to assign. For example, if you are having an object and you wanted to reset the value of an object, then you can assign null to that object. Obviously, then the object value will all be reset, will not have anything. So basically you are just making that object as null. And sixth one is a big int, another is a symbol. So big int, basically it's a number with higher precision. So general case, generally I've not used it in person, I mean in any of the projects, so we'll just ignore this. And symbol, for example, you can have a unique identifier in a object's property. So symbol also, the usage in test automation is very less. So for that purpose we'll skip 6 and 7, but we'll talk about them, these fives and this eighth one. So now you understand how many data type exist in JavaScript. So it's pretty simple. Five basically is the most used types, and I would rather say the top three are very important to understand in automation, basically because these are the typical data type we'll be dealing with, and the broader category of objects. So a variety of object we need to understand so that we know what the object is having for us. For example, what are the properties and what are the methods the object have. So now by now we understand the question number one, how many data type exist in JavaScript. Now let's look at how do we check a specific type. So given a chance that you get a data, how do you check it? So we use something called type of operator. That type of operator takes a single operand, and then that will return you what is the object type it is. Let's do with a quick demo. For example, let me create a variable called who am I. This is an interesting name, and let me check the type of it first. So the way we can check it, console.log, and then if we just put type of and then just create this who am I. So if I run this code now, let me go into this JS core folder and then type in node, and then my file name is data type. Now run it. What you see here is undefined. So the type of this variable is undefined, meaning this variable does not have any value at the moment. So that internally basically what means is an undefined type. What is its value, for example? So the way we can confirm the value, maybe just put the console.log and then just print that variable. Let's see what's going to happen. If I print this now, what you're seeing here is both undefined as well as undefined. So both the value as well as the type is also undefined. Let me make this a little bit more cleaner so that we understand this better. So let me say this is my type is, and then I'm just making a template literal string. We will talk about them later, but you can understand this. This is a way you can just format your string. And so this will give us my type is something and my value is something else. For example, if I just put in a template literal, so we use the dollar symbol and then the curly brace just to make that as a template string. So basically what I'm doing, I'm just making a template literal because this is the easy way to make format any string. So once we go on, then you should be able to understand this. Now if I print this, I'm going to get the same thing. So my type is undefined, my value is also undefined. I have a space here, let me make this. So the another important good aspects about JavaScript is you can have the same variable and you can assign different values to that. For example, if I just go ahead with another type, let me say this is who am I, my variable, and I'm going to assign this as a string type. For example, let me make a string. Let's say, for example, Chrome is my string, for example, right? So if I print this now, the output, what you're seeing here is the type of variable is a string because it is holding a string value, and the value of that variable is a Chrome, actually the value, right? So this makes sense. So by understanding this who is a string type, then you can make use of the strings property and method, because string has a lot of inbuilt properties and methods so that we can manipulate them. I think string does not have any property, but it has have a lot of methods. For example, you can make it as an uppercase using the two uppercase, using that split method, replace method. There are n number of methods available, right? So that's why we need to understand the particular object type is very important. So again, if I just change this Chrome to 123, this will be my type now. So what is the type of this variable now? This is going to be a number, and the value will be 123. So if I print this console out, what you're seeing is my type is number, my value is 123. So by understanding this is a number, then you can make use of any of the predefined methods. And another point, important point, all the all the three types excluding the undefined and null, these types have a wrapper object, inbuilt wrapper object. Basically, string is having another object called a string in an uppercase character. For example, you can also make up a string using this syntax as well. For example, let me put a let str equal to new, then string. So you can also get a string, for example, on this style as well. So if I print this now, what you're seeing will also get a console.log. And let me make this as, otherwise I'll just put simply the type of operator. And again, note this type of is a single word. There is no space in between. Also, there is no uppercase of O. So remember this, otherwise we may just tend to make minor mistakes here and there. So type of, if I just put str, let's see what's going to happen. And the value we all know that it's going to be the same. So if I just print this same thing, just removing the type of, this will print the value of the string. So if I just comment this out now and then try to print this, let's see what's going to happen. So it is saying an object and having a string type as an hello. Because we are using the new operator here, obviously this will create an object of type string with the value hello. And I think we should also be able to create this in this format. And then this case, it's going to say a string type and hello, because this is created using the function. So function in JavaScript is an higher order object. I think if you don't get this now, that's fine. But function in JavaScript is a higher order object. Basically, we can create any of them using function as well. So these are different flavors. Just want to give you why it is important to understand a type. Now let's go back and talk about the rest of the data type. For example, I'll enable this and then I'll check the type as well. So we have seen until the number type. Let's also go ahead and do this undefined. So undefined, we have already seen it. So when you initially declare a variable without any value, the type of variable will also be undefined. The value will also be undefined. But how about null? So if I assign this to a null, let's see what's going to happen. So I'm having a variable called omi and assigning a value to null, to that value. So in this case, if we just print this out, what it's saying is my type is an object and my value is a null. So even though null is considered as a primitive type, when you assign that null to a variable, that variable will become an object type. So it indirectly saying that if you want to reset an object's property method, then assign it to a null value. But if you ask me what is the real-time use case of this in automation, that's very less, I would say, because we always create our own custom object, and then it's generally rare case that we assign that to a null value. But it's good to understand them. So now we have seen until the null part, and that talks about our top 5 data types in primitive. That's all we need to understand clearly. And now if I talk about the broader category of object, I can also assign this to another object. For example, if I just put a string literal or as an object letter like this, and having a key as a as 1 and my value as 1, a as a key, value as 1. And if I just print this now, what it's going to say, my type is an object and the value it holds is an object of object. We'll see why it is getting like this. And if you put json.stringify, then this will give you the real value as well. But that we'll talk about them later. But the idea is we can also create an object literal like this. Or we can deal with a date object and array object. It's all will give us the same result. By now we understand what a variable can hold. A variable can hold a different data type. But the interesting part about JavaScript is that same variable can hold a different data type. For example, in line number 19, this variable type is an undefined, but it's been changed to object because we are assigning an object literal to that variable. So obviously this type will change it to an object. If I put it as string, then this type will change it to string. If I put it a number, then it will change it to number. So that's why JavaScript is called as a dynamically typed language. So this provision is something is not available or it's not permissible in other language, for example Java. Because in Java, if you declare a variable of type integer, then you should always assign an integer value to that particular variable. So you can't change its type anywhere. Otherwise, the compiler will not execute this, right? So now we understand how we can check in particular values object. So in real time, for example, if you get a variable like this, you don't know what to do with it. Just put a type of operator and then the variable name on the right side, because type of operator is a unary operator which takes a single operand on the right side. Then if you put it, this will give you a string value of that particular variable. So what I say is string because all you see here is my type is a string. These are all talking about a string value, but again, when you put a type of operator, this generally returns you with the lower case of the value. Object, for example, number, for example, string here, for example, undefined, right? So that's all we need to understand about this for understanding a type checking. Now, why understanding data type is important? So that's again, for example, if I do another demo, let me comment this, all of this. Let me start with a new one. Why it is important? For example, so JavaScript Node.js has something called a process object. So the use case of this we'll see them later, but process object is having something called platform. So by putting this object platform, this is going to tell me what is my underlying platform. In this case, I'm using Mac. So Mac, it will return something relevant to Mac. So if I just console this out, what you're seeing here is returning as Darwin. So if you execute the same line of statement in Windows machine, this will return something else, like for example, Windows 32 or whatever. So when you see like this, how do you understand what is going to return? Process.platform, is it going to be a string type, number type, object type, array type, or undefined or null? How do you know that? So if you just put simply a type of operator and print in front of it and then execute this now, it is saying that this particular expression is going to return a string type. That's what we are seeing it as a Darwin as a string type. So that's a use case of understanding this object with the use of that. So by understanding, by knowing its type, I can apply some of the strings method. Again, remember in JavaScript, string is internally converted to the string object. So by means, what I'm saying here, for example, if I put a string called test, and then if you put dot operator, by default it loads all of its methods. As you can see, there is a one property, length property, everything else is all methods. So by default it understands it is a string type and then loads all of the predefined methods. So we do not have to reinvent any wheel or anything. So we can pretty much use the same existing method to make use of, to ease our coding part. So that's the beauty of JavaScript, because it by default understand it is a string type, right? So now we know this is going to return a string type, then we can apply its method and property. So for example, if I apply, because I know this expression is returning, this method is returning a string type, I can apply, for example, to uppercase, for example. And if I execute this, let me put this inside of this, because I'm just taking that expression, because this return value of process.platform is a string type. So I know there is a method called to uppercase in string, and then let's see if I execute this. So what you're seeing is whatever value that we got before, it's been capitalized to Darwin now. But what if I don't know, and then assuming it is going to be an array, then I'm just putting a push method instead of this. So obviously this is going to throw error saying that type error process.platform.push is not a function, because this particular method does not return you an array. So there is no push method in that array method. So that is why it is very important to deal with any data type and understand its type. And from a practical point of view, I use a lot of basically different data types, because we tend to deal with the different component of testing, right? We deal with the web application, we'll deal with the file system, we deal with the API, we deal with database, everything. So understanding a type is a very, very important. So by now we understood how we can check a data type and why it is important to understand its type. Otherwise we'll tend to have a lot of errors like this. Assuming it is an array, if you push a push method, then there will be an error. Now we understood the third part, why understanding data type is important. Also we look at what are the different forms a data can be represented. We have already seen a couple of them, but just to give you an idea of, for example, in order to get the answer for this fourth one, Let's have a look at this picture. So a data can be represented in three forms, either a literal or variable or expression. So what does it mean? For example, let's take a just for an example purpose, let's take a, I mean look at this picture. So coffee is a real core value, that's literal basically. So that's what we need. So if you look at the coffee itself is a literal because that's what it is. It's what the value it holds. But when you look at the coffee cup, for example, that is holding, that's having the coffee as that. So you can think a coffee cup as a variable type. So when you assign a value to that particular variable, that becomes a variable. So you can have that data from a variable. And third one is the coffee cup, the coffee machine itself, because the entire output of the coffee machine will return you a coffee. So that can come as an expression also. So when you deal with the data, a data can come from three different forms. Either it can be just literal as it is, literal as in the literally the value, or from a variable. The variable may hold a different data type, or from an expression. The expression, something that evaluates to or equates to a value. So if I do a demo, then you pretty much should be able to understand them clearly. Let me clear this out. And then, for example, if I just take a good example of, for example, let me take a string as an example. So if I just put console.log and then print this, let's say practically, hypothetically, I'm saying that the total test passed 75, for example, 25% is failing for some reason, right? So this is my string literal because I'm just putting this is not surrounded with two quotes, and then this becomes a string literal value. But if I print this, it's going to give me the same output. It's saying total test passed is 75, right? So what if I take this value and then assign it to a variable? Let's say that, or put this message or something and then assign this to a variable. I already have a codes in place. So if I put like this, and if you just print this one, so this will be the variable now. So this takes a variable form because the message here is a string type. It's been assigned to a variable called message. So if we print this one, so this message is holding the type of string variable. So if I print this now, it's going to give me the same output because it's been assigned to a variable, and that variable value is total test passed is 75. So this is our second form where we assign it to a variable. The first thing, we have just hard coded this value as a string literal. We know that the rule is when you represent a string, then we should surround this by a single quote or double quotes. That's what we did. And now when you assign it to a variable, then this variable is also having the same value, right? So what if I change this? For example, let me put in real time, let me say this, the count is coming from somewhere. Let's say that 75 is a number. So because I'm assigning a number, I do not have to surround this with the quote or anything. And now I'm going to just make a string concatenation. So if I put this, for example, if I put the same message as before, saying that total test pass, and then put a space and then put a plus symbol and then put the variable here. In this case, the expression here, for example, this expression is evaluating to a value. That value will be exactly same as this. So here, when I talk about an expression, the expression generally comes with any of the operator, and then that resolves to a value. So this expression resolving to the value as same as before, which means that total test pass will be 75. So if I print this now, we're getting the same output, total test pass 75, because it is taking an expression, right? It will be very simple if you just go ahead and do this with the Boolean type, for example. So let's say that console.log and then just put true as an hard-coded value, as in the literal value, because literally the true is a Boolean type. If I print this now, I'm saying it getting as true. But what if I just assign it to variable? For example, if I put a true is true equal to true, then I get the same value. But if I print this variable, I'll be getting the same input, true. What if I just remove this and make it as an expression form? For example, if I put what can we say? 1 is less than 10, yes or no? It will be yes. So this internally expression will evaluate to a boolean type which will either say true or false. So that's then the operator, comparison operator. So if I print this output now, what you're seeing there is also true. So remember, the entire purpose of this demo is to tell you data can come from either of these three forms. So it's always important to understand what it is, what forms it is comes in, and understanding its type, right? So by now, I hope you get a clear understanding of why it is important to understand data type and what are the different various of forms it can come from, and why it is also by understanding its type, then we should be able to make use of its properties and methods. So that's all for now on the data types. We'll see the next topic in the next session.